This is Financially Fit Radio with Corey Sickles from Safe Harbor Retirement Group. When a part of your financial strategy is out of tune, your long-term goals, your retirement savings, and your legacy can all suffer. With many years of experience in the financial industry, Corey provides his clients and prospects with the information they need regarding Social Security, retirement income planning, wealth management, and much more. Listen in as we address your financial concerns and provide helpful solutions to put you on the path to achieving your retirement goals. And now, here is Financially Fit Radio with Corey Sickles.
Welcome to another episode of Financially Fit Radio. I'm Corey Sickles, representing the team here at Safe Harbor Retirement Group and Wealth Advisors. If you'd like more information about the insights on today's show, don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can always give us a call at 614-760-0670, or you can always visit us online at safeharboroh.com. And while you're exploring our website, be sure to navigate to that radio page. There you can catch up on previous shows and even subscribe to our program through popular podcast platforms like Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, Google Podcast, or Spotify. For engaging visual content on various financial topics, feel free to drop by our YouTube page as well and just search for Safe Harbor Retirement Group. You can also listen and watch our weekly radio show on YouTube as well. You know, we're here to address any inquiries you might have or arrange either an in-person or virtual meeting. And remember, all of our meetings are complimentary and carry no obligation. Your financial well-being is our priority, so let us know how we can assist you the best. Well, today we're going to talk about a year-end financial checklist that can help you just to make sure that you're prepared for tax season and make sure that you're aware of everything that's going on here for 2023 as well. So before we dive into that topic, let me introduce to you my co-host this week and every week, and that's Tony Shore. Tony, how are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Corey?
I am doing good. I am doing well.
I had a great weekend. Last weekend went down to see my parents. We were talking a little bit before the show and helping them out. You know, they're retired and they're getting up there, you know, needing things like hearing aids and all that. And I'm helping them coordinate all that. And my dad's on the farm there, helped him with a few projects. But it was beautiful. And I like getting out outside, breathing the fresh air on the farm there. It's fun. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's always fun. How about you? Have you been keeping busy?
Yeah, we've been busy here at the office. We were talking before the show. It's hard to believe that November's here.
Yeah. And, I cannot believe it's already November. That is crazy. It flew by. What happened to October? That's my question.
Yeah, I know. And then November, of course, we're going to have Thanksgiving, Christmas, holidays, all that stuff coming up. So the next couple months, we're going to fly by here. I'm looking forward to our the Big Ten TV toy drive coming up here as well. It's going to be here before I know it. I'm going to have to start sending emails out to remind clients to, drop some toys off at our locations.
Yeah, I love that you do that every year, and you guys really do a good job with that. I think it's great. You give back to the community, and I know you really, really focus on that and do a good job with it.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to, another year. This is probably our 7th or 8th. I don't even know how many years it's actually been that we've actually, been one of the main sponsors for the Big Ten TV toy drive. So, we're looking forward to that. And, man, it's just so hard to believe that we're already talking about a year-end financial checklist. But,
Yeah, it's that time. It's already November. We better talk about it now or it'll be next year.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And the first thing I kind of want to talk about is, this is really a good time heading into the fourth quarter, is to kind of review, all your, review and organize all your financial records, right? Bank statements, investment account statements, credit card statements, any receipts that you may have. In today's world, you can also create digital folders for each of these categories as well, such as income, expenses, investments, and tax-related documents. But this is kind of a really good way to be able to kind of get into that mode of how much did I actually spend in 2023 And if you don't really do a budget, this is a good time to kind of update that budget, just to be able to see, what are you really spending on a monthly basis, and more importantly, where all that spend's actually going.
Well, it gives you a great idea of where you're at, and that is so important. My wife and I feel so much better after we've sat down and done the budget, looked at our accounts. You need to know how much you're spending, what's coming in, what's going out. And a lot of people think, well, I've got a basic idea. I don't need to worry about that. But if you sit down and actually look at it and go over it at least once a month, I think it's a huge benefit.
Yeah, and one thing you should definitely do on a monthly basis, especially your bank account and all your credit card statements, is going through there and reviewing it just to ensure that all the transactions are accurate and accounted for as well. They do make mistakes. You just want to make sure that you're not paying for things that you shouldn't be paying for, or just to make sure they're the right dollar amounts as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've caught things on my bills, that's for sure. But especially at the year end, you want to make sure you have a plan moving forward as to, okay, let's set this much aside, or we've got this much left over. Maybe we can put that into a growth account. And it's a good reason to get together with a financial advisor like yourself, too.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's a great time to sit down now and start evaluating your investment portfolio, right? You want to make sure that your portfolio aligns with your financial goals and your risk tolerance. For a lot of our listeners out there, you can go to our website at safeharboroh.com and take our color of money risk analysis. It's a risk assessment right there on the first page there. It's 11 questions, but it's going to be able to show you what your risk level is. Things change year to year. You could be 1 year closer to retirement, and you might want to get a little bit more conservative, or it's also a good indication to make sure that you are allocated the correct way. Maybe you're not aggressive enough, but that's one of the things that we can have a discussion with. Obviously, is to review your portfolio to make sure you are matching your risk level.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know that everybody's risk tolerance and risk level is different. And that's why that's an important thing to look at. Maybe you're not allocated, your money is probably not allocated the way your risk tolerance is. And so you want to get that in line. That's going to be helpful moving forward, isn't it?
Yes, it's definitely going to be helpful moving forward. And it's just something to do. Just to make sure that you're keeping up to date with, with your financial or with your investment portfolio too.
Sure.
It's also a good time to kind of review, all your debt, just to make sure you have a grip on, how much maybe you owe on your mortgage or your vehicles or any other types of debt that you have out there or balances that you have out there. Hopefully you're in a position to pay those credit card balances off, each and every month. So that's not building up as well. And it's also a good time just to probably, you can also download your credit report for free too, just to check that out, to make sure there's no discrepancies or anything out there. You're just checking for accuracy to make sure all that's accurate as well, because you want to get the highest credit score that you possibly can as well.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Your credit is important, especially if you want to try to get the lowest possible interest rate when you do need to take out a loan for a vehicle or a home. Yep,
that's exactly right. Even though interest rates are pretty high right now with homes, I mean, they're approaching about 8%.
Exactly, but imagine if you also have a low credit rating, then you're going to pay the highest percentage. And that's now, exactly right. That's really high, like 8% for a home. That's high.
Yeah, and it's also a really good time to make sure that you're looking at your retirement contributions as well. Maybe you're in a position where you want to be able to max that out, and you can find out where you kind of stand. Do I need to increase it or possibly, even decrease it, for the remainder of the year as well?
Sure. Yeah, and that's a tax implication. I'm sure we'll get into that too, right?
Well, yes, tax planning. That's always a big one, right, Tony?
Yeah.
You're going to want to, basically you want to make sure you know what that potential tax liability for the year is. you want to consider some tax saving, you want to consider tax saving strategies such as making deductible contributions to retirement accounts, maximizing deductions, maybe even making HSA contributions, anything that might be able to lower your tax liability. And you also want to be able to plan for any capital gains or losses that could affect your tax liability as well. Yep. That's something to get, we run all kind of reports for our clients just so they know where they kind of stand year to date, because those capital gains can add as income, and you just want to make sure you understand that. So you don't want to be possibly going to that next tax bracket because of capital gains.
Yeah, and taxes really do play a part in year-end planning, almost every aspect of it. How your money is allocated, what you're contributing, do you need to make any charitable donations before the end of the year to get your tax situation a little better? So work with a financial advisor alongside tax professionals to make sure that happens. And I know you have the team there that people need to answer these questions and to get this year-end planning done, right?
Yeah, we do. Not only can you work with us as the financial advisor side, we also have a CPA on there. Yep. And one of the things I think people don't realize, Tony, is now that they raise those standard deductions so high, in some cases you might not get any charitable donations that actually count.
Yeah.
Due to you not being able to itemize. So you want to make sure that if you think you're going to get some type of tax reduction from a charitable donation, you just want to make sure that is the case. Again, you can always consult an advisor or your CPA just to make sure that you are going to be able to have the benefit of that if that's what you're really trying to accomplish.
Yeah, that's a great point, because now that they have the standard deduction, most people default to that and don't itemize. And if you're doing that, you really have to be careful.
That's exactly right. And another thing to kind of keep an eye on, too, is your health savings account and flexible spending accounts, your FSA or HSAs, right? Some of those things don't roll over, especially with an FSA. And or some of them might go till April of next year, but you want to make sure you're on track to spend it, because if you don't use it, you lose it. So that's something that you want to be able to take advantage of, if you have not spent that money yet. So you do want to, spend all that remaining balances for those type of accounts.
Yeah. Yeah. The flex accounts that you're going to use it or lose it, you really don't want to lose that money that you've put in there. And right. So you need to have that planned out. And that's a good thing to look at this time of year. The time to do this is now. Most HSAs will roll over, but you might want to look at those too and see if you can maximize those accounts before the end of the year, right? Your contribution.
That's exactly right. That's something else to be able to look at too. I think with HSAs, you have till April of next year to be able to contribute to them.
Okay.
If you want to be able to do that, but you still need to kind of understand where you are and if you're doing monthly or ever how you're actually put money in those HSA accounts as well.
Yeah, that's a good thing to look at. Well, you know what, Corey? We should probably take a quick break here. But before we do, I know you have a special offer for our listeners. You can get a plan in place for them. You're offering a no-charge, no-obligation consultation. How can they do that?
Yeah, for our listeners out there, you can give us a call at 614-760-0670. Or visit our website at safeharboroh.com. You can schedule a complimentary, no-obligation meeting with us. Our main goal is to make sure that you have the retirement that you really want in retirement. And the best way to do that is to have a financial plan, and we can put one in place if you don't have one. And if you do have one, we can be that second set of eyes and provide a second opinion on your financial plan as well. So all you have to do to take advantage of this is give us a call at 614-760-0670 or visit our website at safeharboroh.com to schedule that complimentary no-obligation meeting with us.
All right, that sounds great, Corey. Listeners, stay tuned. We're going to be right back with more of Financially Fit Radio right after this.
Throughout our working years, we attempt to accumulate as many eggs as possible into our retirement nest. Unfortunately, many people spend their energy focusing on how to accumulate a large retirement nest egg without giving any thought to where their retirement assets should be invested. At Safe Harbor Retirement Group, we have put together a simple way for you to group your retirement assets. To learn ways you can protect your nest egg, download a complimentary Color of Money report at safeharboroh.com or call us today at 614-760-0670.
Welcome back to Financially Fit Radio. If you'd like more information about today's show, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We're here to address any inquiries you might have or to arrange either an in-person or virtual meeting. And remember, all of our meetings are complimentary and carry no financial obligation. Your financial well-being is our priority. So let us know how we can assist you best. You can give us a call at 614-760-0670 or visit us online at safeharboroh.com to schedule that complimentary no obligation meeting with us. Well, Tony, we're talking about, really a lot of different things you can really think about when it comes to a year-end checklist, financial checklist. And, one of the most popular ones, especially the fourth quarter every year, is, should I actually maybe potentially convert some of my IRA money to a Roth and do a Roth conversion? This is a great time to be able to do that. You can kind of find out where you are tax-wise. How much income have you brought in? And it's a great time to be able to potentially do that. And again, as we sit down, with our clients and our prospects, we're going to be able to kind of tell you whether it makes sense to be able to do that Roth conversion. And really all we're trying to do is, in a lot of cases, max out the current tax bracket you're in and create a tax-free income for you at some point in time later on.
Yeah. Yeah, and especially now, taxes are still low, but we know in a year or so they're going to be going up. And most likely, we know that the current tax rates will expire and go back up. That's not good. So now is the time. I think it's really important that people look at that. I'm glad you brought that one up, Corey, because obviously, if you have a chance to roll over the tax liabilities that you can avoid or the tax burden that you can minimize, any way to do that is great, isn't it?
It is great. Yes, it's exactly great. And, especially if you're retired, obviously you're whatever you were making while you're working, it's probably just going to be a tad lower, in retirement at least. Most cases is around 70 to 80% of most people's income while they're working. And a lot of times you stay within that same tax bracket, but this is a great time to be able to max that bracket out, and convert some of that IRA money that you've saved into some type of vehicle later on down the line where it's going to be tax free. And let's face it, taxes are probably going to go up, and it's a great time to be able to try to maximize on what you can do in today's tax brackets to be able to create some type of tax-free income later on in life.
Yeah, I like the sound of that, tax-free income. And I know from my mom and dad situation, they get into tax situations, especially if you sell something or inherit something. If your loved one passes and you inherit, you're going to have a lot of taxes in retirement you don't think about, right? And any tax in retirement can be a real burden. So to do something now while taxes are low and then have that tax-free income in retirement, that's huge.
Yeah, it is huge. To be able to, be able to have tax-free money coming in where you don't have to really claim it on your tax return. It's always a good thing to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And then, one of the things that I know I don't like doing, but it's something that I think everybody needs to do, and that you need to kind of review all your insurance policies, right?
Right.
Your property and casualty insurance. Odds are wherever you're working now, healthcare is going to be coming up, and you got to select all those healthcares.
Yeah.
If you're on Medicare, it's a great time to be able to review where you are and see if you maybe need to change plans as well, because it's annual enrollment, period now here for Medicare from now until, December here. So it's a good time to be able to make those changes. And, things that might have changed from an insurance standpoint. You might have lost a spouse. You might have been able to, maybe you got divorced, or maybe you even got married. So you need to make sure that you're taking advantage of everything that you can from an insurance standpoint as well.
Well, yeah, insurance is an important thing to review this time of year because a lot of people don't realize what they have or where they're at, and they should go into a financial professional, bring everything they have, and see where they're at. And you might be able to review that, give them a second opinion, say, hey, you've got this policy which really isn't that effective. You'd be better off with this, pay less, get more benefits, things like that, correct?
That's exactly right. Yeah, so we do have a Medicare specialist that can kind of help you with all that type of stuff.
That's nice.
Plans change year in, year out, especially prescription plans. And that's where you can really save the most amount of money is on your prescription plans as well.
Yeah.
So I think it's always good to have someone, put that second set of eyes and provide a second opinion for you on your current health care, especially if you're on Medicare.
Well, yeah, obviously you want to work with an advisor, especially year end, because there are a lot of things, obviously, that you can miss. You've been talking about them, like catch-up contributions to your retirement accounts, right? That's something to look at year end.
Well, yeah, that's kind of the way I was going to lead the last one here, Tony, and that is, do you have milestones that are actually going to take place this year or next year? What milestones would be is if you turn in 50, right? Now you actually can make more. Now you can make catch-up contributions. You can increase what you're putting into your 401k or to your IRA or to your Roth. If you happen to turn 55 this year and you're retired, now you actually have the option to take distributions from those 401k plans where you used to work that you did retire at without any type of penalty. A lot of people don't know that, but you can have access to some of that money prior to the age 59 and a half without that 10% penalty. Of course, if you are 59 and a half, now you can actually take distributions from your IRA without penalty, which means now you can probably roll some of those funds over, maybe to an advisor you're working with and control on how you're going to be able to invest, that money going forward as well. Of course, if you're between the ages of 62 and 70, you can start triggering Social Security. And again, before you do that, meet with your advisor. We have a Social Security maximization report that can show you when's the best time for you and your spouse to be able to maximize your benefits. And of course, if you're turning 65 this year, it might make sense to go on Medicare. And you have to go through that process. We have a Medicare specialist that can help you with all that as well. And then the last thing, Tony, is if you are turning 73 this year or next year, then you're going to have to start taking those required minimum distributions out of your IRAs. And you just need to make sure that you're doing that because you don't want to actually be penalized for not taking out what you should be taking out.
Right. Yeah, you want to avoid any IRS or tax penalties, and that's a huge, huge part of this. Now, we're almost out of time, Corey. Is there anything else you want to add before we go?
Yeah, for our listeners out there today, we talked about a lot of different stuff. And really, the one thing I would recommend is that you would actually, set up a meeting, with us. Because a lot of this stuff is so complex, and you just want to make sure that you have a good grip on all this. So we can really help you do that year-end checklist. We can also build that financial plan for you if you don't have one, or provide a second opinion if you already do have one. And the best way to take advantage of that, to schedule that complimentary no-obligation meeting with us, is just to give us a call here at 614-760-0670, or just visit us online at safeharboroh.com.
Well, Corey, great show today, and thank you, listeners, for tuning in. That does it for today's episode of Financially Fit Radio with our host, Corey Sickles.
Join us next week for another episode of Financially Fit Radio.
Thank you for listening to Financially Fit Radio. Don't pay too much for taxes or retire without a sound income plan. For more information, contact Corey Sickles at Safe Harbor Retirement Group. Call 614-760-0670 or visit their website at financiallyfitoh.com.
All matters discussed during the show are for informational purposes only. Each individual situation may vary, and the opinions expressed here may not apply to everyone. Materials presented are believed to be from reliable sources, and no representations can be made as to its accuracy. All ideas and information should be discussed in detail with one of our qualified representatives prior to implementation. We are not affiliated with or endorsed by the Social Security Administration, the Federal Medicare Program, or any other government agency. Calling this number will direct you to a licensed sales agent.